Hey, what's up? It's Nickole Brewster, also known as Coco. Thank you for tapping into the Elevate Him podcast, where we have tons of topics on how to support our men. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Nickole Brewster, also known as Coco. Thank you for tapping into the Elevate Him podcast show tonight with us. We got a great guest. I'm excited to have him with me tonight. But just real quick, it's been a minute since I've been here. You got to take a little bit of time out, regroup, recharge. So if it's been a while, I apologize, but I'm so glad you are with us tonight to hear my friend's story. So we've been friends for a while. This is my guest tonight, Lucious, Lyran. Ooh,
wow.
Shit. I did it, right? I'm excited. I was struggling, guys, I'm not going to lie. But you're looking like mighty celebrity-like, and I just kind of want to join you.
Do it.
So I can look cool, too. He looks like somebody I know, like somebody super famous. But you know what? Because you have a book coming out. Well, excuse me. Let me take that back. We have a book out, and you got one coming out. So I wasn't wrong.
Right.
So you have every right to rock the glasses the way that you do.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm excited for you. So introduce yourself. What's up?
Okay. Well, like she said, my name is Lucious Lyran, and I do have a book that just came out on Monday. The book is about astrology, self-love, and meditation. So it's a self-help book to basically help you understand how we're all connected to the stars and how the stars plays out different energies on Earth, according to like our zodiac sign and the different placements that's in our natal charts and stuff. So just kind of give people like the basic outline of astrology. Okay. And then within that, each zodiac sign has like a unique kind of self-love practice that you can do. So
that's cool, like a workbook or something.
Yeah, okay, so that's exactly what it is. It's definitely a workbook. There's definitely some areas in there where you actually fill in the blanks. So
okay,
it's pretty nice. Yeah.
And I think that's a great way to kind of engage. Like if you're really going to do some work, you got to do the work, right? So it makes sense that you would have something like that attached to where they can actually like see their answers and they can see their progress. So what inspires you to do that? Like out of all the things that you could have written about, like what was that?
Well, what inspires me to write different books is really I would say my intuition. Like, if I'm kind of just in a relaxed kind of zone state of mind, sometimes things just like come to me, and so I just pick up on that. So I was just been inspired, just like I said, through my intuition. And for myself, being a student of astrology for about 7 years now, I do have a lot of people that inbox me or make comments on my social media, just wanting to know, I guess, my interpretation or, my thoughts when it comes to astrology. So I thought it'd be cool to put together a book that, gives you like a little bit of information, some basic information on the planets and stuff, but then also it'd be kind of interactive to kind of get you familiar with your own natal chart. Because if you were to go to an astrologer, sometimes, people may not have the funds to actually get it done professionally. So, but at least this is a way of you kind of doing it yourself.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome. And I think with what you got going on and how you are going to demonstrate it in the book and how you maybe talk about it in the book, it stems with what, like Elevate Him for me is just kind of some grounds of things that people don't really talk about, right? So we know like men's mental health, confidence is definitely a big one. And I think that when people struggle internally and they don't know where to like get resources, they don't know where to go. So I always recommend definitely books, getting tapped in with knowledge, finding something because, there's counselors and different things. That's always great. But I found that with Elevate Him for me, I wanted to provide almost like a non-therapeutic, but it's still therapy in a sense.
Yeah.
Like you're getting you're getting like the support, you're getting the resources, you're getting all this stuff. So that in itself can lead to like a therapy type thing. So when you're looking at like what you do and how you've learned everything, you're seeing healing, you're seeing self-love, you're seeing like these great outcomes. So Have you had any, thing in maybe your past that really kind of brought this to the forefront for you? Like, an area that you maybe needed some healing or self-love?
I would say probably for me, it would be to understand more about love. And I really didn't understand love in the unconditional sense, just due to the fact of I really didn't have enough love for myself. So I definitely spent a lot of years doing a lot of healing, with that, so I could better understand it, because the way, I was brought up and things like that, and through my experiences, I really didn't understand what unconditional love is. And part of having unconditional love is having self-love for yourself, and really, doing the work and everything, because we all have potential to be the best version of ourselves. Right. And that was something I was striving for, was wanting to be the best, version that I could be of myself and stuff. And so I know a lot of times with men, we tend to not really do a lot of this work, because it's like, that's just for the women to do, and stuff like that, when we do need to get in touch with ourselves and do a lot of healing and everything. And when I did,
who else to give all your love to besides yourself? You know what I mean? Like that's like the focus. That's like, you should be the one that you give unconditional love to first and foremost, because like you said, the better version of you is going to spew and morph into the things that you do, and that's going to bring back some of that gravitation. I believe, like that gravitation pull, like what you put out, you get, and it kind of becomes like that echo. So we actually went out and had coffee not too long ago, and I think every time you and I get together, because we've had a great friendship, as if I'm ending it tonight or something, but like we have a good friendship, and every time we've gone out and we've had coffee or just, whatever, it's like we get so deep, because there's so many layers to this, and how, people's traumas and triggers and love and confidence, like it's just so like different now. I found for me, like I felt like I was being selfish when I did those types of things, or, people would look at me a certain way if I did too much. Because one thing that I recognize is everybody will cheer for you. You go, boy, you got this, you're dope, you're this, and they'll cheer for you. But the minute you step back and you go, I'm the shit, I'm the boss, it's like, oh, hold on a minute. She's arrogant. She's too much. She's bougie. And it's like, but how come it's like that? So how can we kind of switch our mindset a little bit to understanding it better?
I would say it has to come down to the individual thinking that way for themselves, and I think that's the thing. Like, we're not really taught a whole lot of things when it comes to, boosting ourselves up, because when, like, especially like when we were like growing up as teenagers and stuff, we would do that, and then we had an adult tell us, "Oh, don't do that. That's being and it's like that's really like a confidence killer for someone, I feel." Yeah. And so then, because of that happening, that could be a hurtful situation to us. So therefore, we go into our adulthood thinking that, oh, it's something wrong with, being confident about yourself. It's coming up, it's being portrayed as being arrogant or being too much or whatever, when really it's not. It's all a part of that. So I think it's more of a thing of really kind of reprogramming ourselves from what we thought we knew to like the things that we know now that, be helpful.
And I think because you have this book that is going to help kind of integrate that into our space, I think it'll allow to kind of break through a little bit to where we don't feel so bad for taking time out. We don't feel bad for loving ourselves. We don't feel bad. Like, I think it's cool when guys will go get like, pedicures in their hands, and it doesn't mean like you're feminine. It just means like you care about your nails. Like,
because
that's also a real thing.
It's also treating yourself like royalty too. You can't go around saying, "Oh, I'm
a king, I'm a queen," looking all trashed out. What kingdom do you live in, right?
When back then, royalty would bathe themselves in essential oils and things like that. How many of us is really doing that? We're not really doing that because we're not, talk
we're not
these
in
things.
tune with that yet, right? And I think you're bringing that to the forefront, which I think, with anything that can be helpful, I'm all for it. I feel like whether it's self-esteem, self-love, coming and getting a suit to feel better, whatever it is, as long as it is helpful. I feel like so many people get praised for doing just not helpful services, and I feel like the people who really put in the time to help educate people, to help give them a tool to elevate themselves, I think is very, very awesome. So I just love what you're doing. So are both books, so the one that you have out now and the one that's coming, are they intertwined? Is it like a book that you start with and then you have another one, or are they two separate entities that kind of do the same thing?
They're actually two separate books.
Okay.
The other one is coming out in July. It's going to be for teens. So it'll be spiritual awakening for teens and stuff. So
let's get them young, loving themselves, right? Because this is where it all kind of starts. Like the teenagers, I was never a mean girl. I don't believe that or not, but I was never a mean girl. In fact, I was really shy. I was really I was bullied. I don't know why my mom kept my hair so damn short, but I was called all kinds of names. I was picked on, and it really made me kind of depressed. I didn't feel like I was pretty. None of the boys would like me. I only had a few friends, and I think that really takes a toll. And now when we look at social media, do you see that kind of minimizing our self-worth and all that stuff because we don't have it like so-and-so, but we know that social media, we know that that's a joke, that it could be a lifestyle that's not being lived.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Do you really see teens struggling to where you wanted to kind of push this issue with them?
Yeah. Just from things that I hear about in the news and, things that I hear through just, friends of mine that have kids and stuff. Definitely wanted to give teens, cause I feel like that's such I don't know. I feel like we neglect teens to me, I think, and that's such a middle ground from transitioning from a child to this adulthood that you're going to be basically spending the rest of your life as an adult.
Yeah.
So that to me is a very important midpoint that I feel just gets overlooked at, just they're just teenagers or whatever.
Right.
And it's no, that's a very important
deep.
time. Yeah.
That's a deep part of learning.
Yeah, exactly. So, definitely, giving them something to where, social media is not a real place.
Yeah.
But, where we're at right now is. So, spend more time, because I talk about, just being able to spend more time into nature. I feel like that's something that a lot of us don't do. We just want to be stuck inside and constantly on our phones or on the TV and stuff, when really getting out into nature and just, taking a fresh breath of air can do so much for you as an individual.
The clarity, so, your mindset, changing your sceneries, right? I think it can do a lot. Meditation.
Yeah.
So what would you tell your younger self? I know that's kind of one of those questions that most people would say on a podcast, but because you're really tapped into that. So, as an adult now and looking at maybe your childhood, what would you have told yourself to maybe jumpstart this?
I would say the self-love aspect for sure. I feel like that's important piece that, I would definitely
just
tell
really
myself
encourage
to.
that.
Yeah.
So encourage the self-love, and what would that look like?
Because for me, without really knowing that, I didn't have the best people around me, and I felt like because of me not having an awareness, I didn't really pick people that had my best interests at heart, right? Even when it came to even just the relationships I got into were just not good, because I didn't look at myself a certain way, So I feel like when you don't have that, you tend to let anyone just talk to you any certain way, and just be disrespectful to you and stuff like that, and sometimes being taken advantage of. So I feel like that's very important to really know yourself.
Yeah.
And
because it's okay to have emotion.
Yeah, exactly.
We're acknowledging that it's okay to have emotion. We just got to learn certain ways to channel that emotion. If somebody disrespects you, we're not going to just pop off and start doing like a Will Smith move. We just can't, right? That's just not what we should be doing. So we have to be able to channel those emotions in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And conduct ourselves in a mature way, and handle things right. So when you're talking about somebody like talking to you a certain way, are you also kind of tapping into like how to conduct yourself, or are you just saying like, don't let things bother you, let it roll off? So how does that?
I'm saying more of what I mean by someone not talking to you a certain way is that if someone is coming with aggression, or someone is not really like, you need to be like, hey, I really don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
And, either, walk away from that situation, but you should never let anyone just think that they can just call you anything, say anything to you. That's not cool.
Yeah.
And that means that, they have things that they need to work out, which is why they're, trying to bother you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not so much of like, in a sense, it is letting things roll off of you, but at the same time, you're also standing up for yourself as well by letting them know like, hey, it's not cool that you're talking to me this way.
Right.
I don't appreciate that.
And I think
like
that would have been my thing.
Yeah.
My question to myself would have been like what I just asked you, like, what would you tell your younger self? I would have two things, because I was a fighter after a while. Like, if you pushed me to the point, like, you just kept, I snapped. And I had to whoop some ass. And I didn't like to do that. That wasn't, like, fun for me. I wasn't, like, scoping it out. But I had to defend myself. And I think that if I would have learned maybe how to do that differently, I would have, probably not have been so angry. But it was almost like I got pushed and I didn't know how to handle those things, and I allowed them to build up versus delegating problems immediately. And my second thing would be to slow down. Mm-hmm. Because I think as a kid, I couldn't imagine growing up in these times, and I see my own kids and what they are faced with, or what they see. Like, you can Google anything, you can Snap, you can talk, TikTok, you can do all these things, and you have so much access. So I couldn't imagine like how fast these kids are like really growing up. So for me, I would say like slow down, like don't rush through life, just chill, enjoy the moments of life. And like with meditation, do you do any meditation to kind of like zen and to kind of slow things down?
I do, yeah. That's definitely something, especially towards like the beginning of my journey. I definitely was learning how to do that, because I was I was on constant go mode, especially being in the Hollywood industry too at that time. So constantly
that's
just
that life
on the
so the look makes sense because you got a background in Hollywood.
So just constantly just being on the go all the time. Definitely slowing you, because when you do that, and I feel like that's like another thing too. Sometimes when we don't want to deal with certain stuff, we tend to just keep ourselves as busy as possible, because we don't want to deal with, maybe some issues, right? So then, you definitely got to take time and think about stuff and analyze it for yourself, because doing that is really therapy. Like for me, a lot of my therapy has been with me taking a pen and writing out what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, it feels really good to do that.
Yeah.
It really does, and so that's something that some practices that I did. And I even I had a issue with a person years ago. Don't have any contact with them, but there were some things that I just wanted to say, and so I actually wrote them a letter.
Okay.
Which was very therapeutic for me. And then I just burnt the paper once I was done. Yeah. So
it was like that, just kind of like I wrote this and I released it and that's it.
Yeah, because sometimes we have like emotions that may stay with you, right?
Yeah.
And it could be something traumatic or something. So when you do that, the release, you just feel that energy is like just leave.
Yeah, you just feel more light. Yeah, I think when we talked the other day with coffee, it's so funny that you bring that up, because for me, I wear so many hats, and it wasn't until after something that had happened in my personal life that I just felt like survival mode totally kicked in. And so all of a sudden I had like 100 jobs, you know, like a list, a to-do list that never stopped. And I got comfortable in that mode that sometimes slowing down feels weird. Like and it's not that I can't handle my emotions. I like to feel things, but I'm such an emotional person too, that it's like, I don't want to spend days in bed. And I try to just kind of cope and then just move on. So I think that's a very healthy way to, you know, establish writing things down, letting things go. You know, journaling has actually been one of my, you know, things. But I think when I journal, I tend to bring in like that manifestation. Like I want to write down things like, for instance, when I started Elevate Him, it was literally a thought. It was something that I wrote down in a time of just, I was so desperate to get my brother back. I was so desperate to just not feel the pain. And I was just like 2 years felt like it went by overnight, and I have no idea what that looks like. So when I wrote my idea down, it was supposed to be William's Closet. It was supposed to be all these different things, but it all aligned to exactly what I wanted to do. So writing that down made me believe that I needed to write, you know, those positive things down too. So do you kind of agree, like, let's get rid of the stuff, but then we can also tap in and put in some positive things on paper, because that does
absolutely.
comes to intuition or fruition or whatever it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm all about having balance in life, and you definitely got to balance both sides. So
Yeah. Two sides to every coin.
Right,
yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because you know, because the for me, like, all the positive stuff is all the things that, you know,
come after releasing the negative. So it's like
then you have
surface
to manifest.
cleaning.
Yeah, better friends, all kind of stuff. You know, like now, because of, you know, doing this kind of work, you know, I'm able to attract certain people into my life. Like I don't want to attract.
Well, if you keep wearing those glasses,
well,
I mean, you're going to be attracting a lot of stuff. Maybe things that you don't want in your DM. I mean, right? Crazy out there.
Yeah. But you can really, you know, attract things, you know, based on how you, like I would say, you can actually program your energy to act.
Really?
Oh yeah. It's interesting, especially when you get into mantras. You familiar with mantras?
No, and I think when we talked, you mentioned like stars and moons and like literally like the whole pattern of things and how it all energy sources come out. So
well, yeah, just like right now we're, you know, in a full moon right now. So
right?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
No, I did that way too good.
Right. I'm like, part where
yeah, you don't want to know.
Yeah.
That is scary.
But you know, the full moon affects the tides of the ocean.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So if that, you know, heavenly body is affecting the water like that, what do you think it's doing with our bodies?
Yeah,
It's also
all water.
70% water as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
Yeah. So we're definitely affected by planetary shifts, all kind of stuff. So
okay. And what was the thing that you said? Does it what?
What? Oh, mantras.
Mantras.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
what is that?
Mantras would be like what a prayer is, basically.
Okay.
So there are like different mantras that you can do to manifest certain things in your life. A lot of I want to say, maybe like Hindu, Indian type culture tend to do a lot of mantras and stuff. But yeah, it's definitely something you know, you could just write out. You know, like I said, it could be like a daily prayer in a sense. You know, something that you like recite like every day.
Okay.
So the whole thing
you got to gravitate these habits, make these habitable, right? So you got to live by this. You can't just go, I'm a money magnet, and then you don't got nothing going on. You got to really stay in rehearsing, believing, being open to receiving. Like there's a whole system, right? To really get what you want.
So like with certain mantras that I've done, with like, you know, manifesting like wealth and stuff like that. It's something that you want to do in the morning when you wake up, and also right before you go to bed. Yeah. So it's like when you constantly saying and reciting it, it's like your subconscious is picking it up, and then therefore your energy is picking it up. And so it's like, okay, so this is what we about to do.
Right.
we're just any doors we walk through, you know,
They're
people are just going to
open.
gravitate.
Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So that's the concept of how, you know, that can kind of work in your life. And
Now, what do you think of sage? I bought some sage on
Sage?
Amazon, and it's still in the bag. Excuse me, I haven't used it, and I really don't feel like I have bad energy around me because I feel like I have a lot of good balance. I feel like there's a lot of things that I've done and that I've journaled, and I have a huge vision board, which, you know, I think is very therapeutic when you want to really put in a perspective like a life you want or people you want to be around or be inspired by. You know, so I think those things are great. So with the kind of sage routine, I don't know much about it, but I was like, I'm going to buy some and I'm going to sage the house and, you know, I'm going to lay in it like catnip. And, you know, I don't know, like, how am I going to get good energy?
I don't know about no catnip.
I'm just saying, like, so how can I do like maybe some therapy type thing at home like that?
So with sage, I would say that, well, at least for me, I tend to sage like my space.
Okay.
And
They say
also
they like your body,
I
right?
sage my my energy field, my aura,
Okay,
right?
yeah.
And so I feel like that's something to do on a daily basis
Okay.
because, you know, we interact with a lot of people, even people we don't want to interact with.
Amen.
And so some people I call energy vampires that like to latch on to your
Ooh.
energy without you, you know, being fully aware of it.
Yeah.
So that's why it's kind of good to kind of make it like a daily habit because, you know, you are clearing off any kind of negative energy that might try to, you know, attach itself to, you know, your energy field or, you know, even maybe just inviting someone to your home. Like you just never know what other people may be carrying. So I feel like sage is something that it's like a daily practice that you
Just
do.
a daily thing that you
Yeah.
can do.
You
Yeah,
know,
'cause I've
and
seen
you'll
all
notice a
types of
difference.
things.
Like when I was doing it like constantly, like you really do notice a
Really?
major difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
really
you know, it, like negative energy does not like.
And I think we're all about that, right? Like
Yeah.
we'll type it out. Keep your negative energy away,
right.
like on Instagram, and you're
Yeah.
like still in a room full of negative energy. Like you are the negative energy that's, you know, saying that you don't want the negative energy. So it's kind of crazy. So we really got to practice what we preach. And I think we really, if you want to really not be in that space, you got to, like you said, kind of clear that space up. So what do you think of like essential oils, or is there anything like, you know, I think tapping into your sensories, right? I know a lot of people are using more natural therapeutic ways to cope with pain or having not to even take medication, because I know that's kind of a big thing for people. And I mean, I'm seeing it in kids, I'm seeing it in adults, you know, and so what are your kind of views on that? Like how to kind of self-medicate on a natural way?
That has to do with nutrition. So something that I've come across, and I've been thinking about actually making
Another book
about health. Actually, right?
Hey,
And,
you are what you eat, right?
Right.
Well, hold on a minute, right?
Yeah, because, you know, like here in the West, we just have a poor Western diet over here. And
climate right now. What's going on with this? Like 50 days of rain.
Right.
We're going to flood away. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I was doing some research and come to find out that back in like the early 1900s, they wrote it in one of the farmers' like almanac book or whatever. And it talks about how, you know, a lot of our nutrients has been depleted here in the U.S. So some of our soil doesn't produce enough nutrients. So we don't even get a proper amount of nutrients that we need to like have in our bodies and stuff. So I found people that have created natural products that actually help give you those nutrients and stuff. So me personally, I like to take a product that's called wheatgrass.
Okay, yeah.
And there's a guy by the name of Dr. Berg. He makes it, and I love his product because he grows his wheatgrass off of an old ancient seabed in Utah that is rich in nutrients and stuff. And so that's where you want to get like a lot of your herbs is from a place that you know has an abundance of nutrients, because you could put a whole bunch of herbs in your body, but if they're trash,
right, you're not gonna.
I mean, you're not, you know what I mean? You're not getting the full nutrients of it. So yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, I definitely believe in like doing like your physicals, your checkups. I literally I had one like maybe a couple months ago, and they did like the blood work and all the labs and, you know, just to kind of gauge. And I wasn't even feeling no type of way. I was actually feeling fine. Sometimes I get tired. Sometimes I do got to take a nap, not because I'm old, but just because I just kind of feel like I go so much that it's almost like my crash, and I have to kind of like, but it's also a good thing to kind of do if you have time to recharge, right? So I think it's kind of a healthy too. But when I did my blood work, it showed that I was anemic. It showed I had like low vitamins. And so I had to like now take almost triple. And I wasn't eating anything crazy. So it goes to show like you could eat salads all day, but you still might be losing out on some nutrition that you need. And that can help with your brain. That can help with your energy, your metabolism, everything. So yeah, being a product of, you know, watching those things and getting those checkups. I think men really have a hard time. So I'm going to advocate, you know, Elevate Him right now. We need to really kind of promote those healthy things. And it's okay to go do that stuff, because you will find that you can catch something so early on. Like now that I'm taking all these vitamins, I'm feeling better. I'm not taking I took a 30-minute nap instead of, you know, 3-hour nap. And so it's just kind of a better lifestyle. It's just really kind of bringing in those healthy habits. So would you say, you know, for you kind of tap into that as well with like getting those regular routine checkups, because it's really crucial in men. There's a lot that's going on with stress factors, mental health, diet, exercise, all that stuff. So encouraging men to get checkups.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not only just checkup, but you know, men tend to not eat good neither. Yeah. You know what I mean? We need to eat a lot better.
Right.
You like, know, it's not about just eating meat and potatoes all the time. You know, so I you know, definitely eating better and definitely, you know, going in and get checked up is important.
Yeah, because you can catch a lot of stuff beforehand if you know,
right,
if something was there. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Also, too. Another thing that we don't do much of is I just got done doing this back in April. I'm going to do it again in August. And I did a natural detox, a 15-day detox, cleaning out your intestines, your colon, all that stuff. That's super important, you know, especially when you get up in age. Yeah,
right. You don't know what you're carrying around
as soon as you get into your
like,
30s, man.
I did a detox and look what happened. Yeah, like you feel like you're light as air and stuff.
Yeah, right. You got to do that, you know, because, you know, just eating a whole bunch of stuff and, you know, it's important.
I think it all ties in, like you said, even with like, you know, the universe and the earth and the star, like everything when you look at it as a whole, like even as your body, like whatever you eat can really trigger even your mind. Oh, like you might feel lethargic, you know, like you might have depression attached. You know, there's so many things, like if you overdo it on sugar, like, I mean, it's really like people are so concerned right now with looking good on Instagram. And I really love people working out, like, don't get me wrong. But I also see these people who look good, like their mental is a little distorted, you know? So I think really like if you're going to work out, work everything, take your vitamins, get your routine, you know, stay active in the gym, read, like there's just like, you're a whole being.
Well, you know, what's interesting that we tend to, we see people that are fit. Just because somebody's fit doesn't mean they're healthy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's such a misperception. Like, just because somebody is built or fit, that doesn't mean that they're healthy. Right. At all. So, yeah, definitely having the balance of all of those things is very important.
And are those anything that you have, like you even said, maybe like this might kind of get you into another book, you know, in the near future to really tap into like what we put in our bodies and what that looks like. Because just as much as we want to change the outside and feel good and self-love, I think the inside is just as important, and how we love. You know, there was something that I had said in a podcast, you know, way back, like if we don't speak love, it dies. So even just your being, like what you promote, there's a lot that goes behind that. Are you speaking with love? Are you showing love? Are you showing up for people in a loving way? Some people don't deserve it, right? We have, you know, those, but at the end of the day, are we doing our job as humans to engage with humanity in love? So, I mean, when you see that, do you think that speaking it is a good routine to get down?
I'm a person of action.
Ooh.
So
So none of this.
Yeah, more
Show love
than talking about it. Because I feel like I've heard people over so many years talk about it.
Yeah.
But I don't see it.
So don't talk about it if you're not going to be about it.
You know what
right?
I mean? So
yeah.
it's like, I don't want to hear
but
about the gift of
some people
gab.
are like weird about so just give me an idea or give me something that shows love to you.
Somebody taking the time to listen to you, like being a good listener, someone who gives you encouragement every day.
Yeah.
Like to me, those are signs, loving signs of someone like caring.
So have you ever done like the 5 love languages?
The love languages. Yeah.
So I think I think that's kind of a great way to I think everybody should do that, to find out where they are, because I think I kind of know mine off the top of my head. I think mine is like affection, then it's like words of admiration, then it's acts of service. Gosh, I think that's only 3. And then I think like my last one, whatever it was, I think that was like the gift. Like I like gifts, but I think, quality time. Mm-hmm. Quality time was definitely in there. So all of those things, if we can really practice in our daily habits of just, being mindful. Am I being loving? Am I being serving? Am I being compassionate? I think that's a huge one. I think people have just like lost their way.
It's like having more empathy.
Yeah.
Because we all have experienced one thing together as a whole, and that is pain. So that's something we all can relate to. So, just by saying hi to someone down the street, you don't know what they can do for that person who may be going through something.
Yeah.
So just, them feeling that like, somebody is acknowledging me or someone is paying attention, I feel like it's important.
Yeah. It's crazy because I'm that person. When I'm walking by, I'll always like make eye contact and I'll smile. But I will notice that I'm doing that and they're like, they're not receptive to it at all. Like, I don't know if that's just they didn't meet the mark there or it's awkward. And why do you feel like people are so awkward to like kindness when somebody's like doing that? Because you're getting people like looking away like, what did you say? It's like, I just said nice.
When something may have happened to a person that you thought was being kind, but they had a little secret agenda. So I think people just are maybe numb to it, where you're so numb where you're just like, what do you want from me?
Right.
What's
your intention?
It can't be something just genuine.
Right.
Like, so it's like, we need to bring back like genuine kindness to each other and not, trying to be nice just because you're trying to get something out of someone. Right. That's where I feel people are at.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense too. I think when you've gone through a lot, you've experienced a lot, it's hard to really tap into that because of fear. We don't want to be judged. We don't want to be rejected. I think rejection is just the most terrifying thing for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not even like a dating thing. It's just like really like rejecting my application for a job or rejecting me for my home loan or, like we are so afraid.
Though? I will say this though, you may not like it.
Oh my Lord. Here we go.
I feel that men are better at rejection than women are. That's what I feel. It's true because we have to.
Right.
Yeah,
I think you're
absolutely.
Right. I think because we're emotional though, and I think that's part of like a rejection factor is like, excuse me, like I'm the shit. I'm the like like I think there is like this. Not
it's just
I
our
wouldn't
society.
say entitlement, but I just think it's definitely we're more emotional, and so I think it might hit a little bit different. Where I think a man, if it's a rejection, it's like, oh okay, whatever. It's a little bit more.
Well, I feel like for us, it starts with.
Why are you trying to pick a fight with me on the show?
Not. Whenever we're like teenagers, right?
Yeah.
And we have to, like, it's like, okay, the man is expected to, ask women out, do this, so all these expectations that we have. So when we go and like, we try to be nice, be the nice guy, whatever, get rejected, and then you get to a point where like, well, whatever.
I did my best. If I tried, you guys, there is a lot of work. in that whole kind of courting thing, So I think like but everybody's different. Some
but
guys
we are
can
the best
really,
at rejection though. Because we had to experience
maybe we should take this on the streets and like really just start rejecting people and see what pops off. Because I mean, I think you're right, and I think, like I said, my point of view is just kind of more of the emotional side, and I think women are so used to kind of getting what they want a little bit. So
there you go. That's why y'all ain't
when
used
you
to
say
rejection.
no to me, I'm like, excuse me, oh hell no, I'm not liking you. So yeah, it could be a fight.
Yeah, right.
For sure. That
part.
But yeah, I think we need to really just kind of gear back into just really just treating each other with love,
absolutely,
and bringing things together that, really have meaning and in life and the values that things bring. But, again, we are in a different time. So with your books, where can people like find the books? How can they find you with your glasses on? All like,
right.
How can people find you and get kind of tapped into what you got going on?
I would say probably the number one place would be Amazon. That's where all my books are at.
Nice.
So, just type it in my name. Will pop up the books that I have out. And then, all my social media is at luciouslyran. So just type that in and able to find me.
And you got
there.
a really good following. Like, you got a really big following. So do you feel like you have more men or more women, or do you feel like it's a really good balance of people really engaging with
I feel
what
like
you got going on?
now it's a nice balance.
Yeah.
Like, especially when I go back and look into my insights and stuff, and because at first it was more females originally, and then now it's starting to balance out with the males coming through. So it's cool,
which is awesome because you really want them to take on what you're about, because it is for them too.
Absolutely.
When we think of self-love, like kind of like how we talked earlier, it was kind of like, well, it's not just for women. Like, that's just a loose term. Like, but the whole idea is to get everybody tapped in with yourself.
Yeah.
Admire yourself, do those things for yourself, take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, like, you are responsible for you. I can't do anything to you that you don't allow. So if you're taking care of you, you should be like your best advocate in being your best self.
Right. Exactly.
So I agree in that, and that goes for men, women, youth. So I'm super excited that you're tapping into that too, because I feel like that's very crucial for a growth period and how to navigate the things that they're facing. So what are your next goals? What's like your next thing? You got the books out?
I would say probably the next big goal that I have.
Going on tour?
Absolutely
Come on,
not.
you in a band? What's cracking? No? Okay.
No, I do. I am going to be doing some more music soon. So got some stuff I'm going to be working on in the studio this summer. But I'm about to tap into romantic novels.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this has got to be continued. Like, you can't just
cool.
leave me on some romantic novels. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
wow.
such a cool
So you have a
story,
romantic side.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like
Interesting.
I like certain love stories. And growing up as a kid, I would check out different like love stories and stuff, and which honestly has helped me become a good writer, because I used to write like screenplays. So writing a script between two people and stuff like
the
that.
dialogue, right?
Yeah, but now kind of adding, I guess not just like more knowledge, where I'm at now, but also too incorporating some soulmate type aspects into it. So
really tapping into.
That's
the
all
energy and what you bring in and what to do and what not to do. And sometimes we would say our pickers off. So I'm really interested on what not to do next, right? Yeah,
because it's going to be based on fictional characters, but it's going to be a lot of real life situations that I feel a lot of people will just relate to.
Awesome. Yeah, so, and speaking of upcoming things, you and we're not going to give out too much detail because, it's one of those things you got to keep it little secrets. But I had came to you and I was like, oh my God, I got something really funny to share. I don't want people to like think I'm weird, but this is my idea.
Okay,
and yeah, right. And you did. We met at Starbucks and we sat there and we really put this in a perspective of seeing it on paper. Mm-hmm. And it was like the coolest thing to see it come to light. And it's a sitcom. Yeah. And it's something that, hopefully we can, really move this. Oh, yeah. It's going to be top notch. So I'm super excited. I won't give too much detail, but that's something that we're kind of working on too.
We'll have to talk about that.
We'll get that. But I want to put that out there because we're talking about energy. We're talking about manifestation. So I really wanted to just say that here live because it allows that kind of, we need that juju. Mm-hmm. We need that good comeback with, hey, you guys need to be in Hollywood in about 2 weeks because we're going to sign you a deal. We need that.
Exactly. So anyone on Netflix, if you're listening.
Yeah. Holla.
Ask us about
we got something big. right. We got something big. It's in the bank. So, but I'm excited for that, when we get to that. Yeah. So I'm really excited for your journey. Yeah. I'm so happy that you came on and shared. And again, it sounds like you got some stuff, going on further. So I would like to maybe swing back around and,
we can do this anytime.
Tap back in with you and see what's going on, what's new. You guys, please go check out his book right now on Amazon, and then an upcoming one next month also on Amazon. Check out his socials, get plugged in, get tapped in with your energies and Zen, and just be good human beings. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one. Thank you for tapping into the Elevate Him podcast. Until next time.